By this point, you have invested significant time and effort in understanding the key principles of team leadership. The great news is that you are now better equipped with the breadth of knowledge, ideas, theories, and frameworks about how to lead high-performing teams. However, this is really just the beginning of your team leadership development. The theories and frameworks around team leadership reflect our on average, or best practice understanding of what works and what doesn't work. This is a great starting point. If we are able to understand the nature of the team objectives, we can set our team on the right path. But as we know, people are complicated and hard to predict. And a group of people interacting is even more complicated. It is impossible for us to predict and prepare for every factor affecting our team's outcomes. As a result, there are no set rules. There is no silver bullet. And there are no 7 steps to whatever that can guarantee you a good team outcome. To actually translate these insights into practice will require exercising a reasoned managerial judgment. We must be able to read our people and adapt to our context. We must be ready to change our leadership approach or redirect the team as new information emerges. Theories, frameworks, and yes, even 7 steps are valuable not because they tell us precisely how to lead the team. Rather, they add to our leadership tool belt. They help us to understand, help us to analyze, and to open our eyes to other possibilities, to different approaches that we can adapt to our dynamic team situation. So, the true value of understanding the principles of team leadership is a better appreciation of why various factors shape team outcomes. Understanding the why empowers us as leaders. It allows us to exercise our reasoned managerial judgment to determine when various leadership or management practices will help to promote team success, and when they might backfire. As a result, leadership development is not just about knowing theories or frameworks, nor is it just about knowing your own competencies. Leadership development is about your ability to use that information to improve your practice. Associate Professor Neil Paulson explains the critical role of practice in leadership development.
From the point of view of leadership development, again, there's no substitute for doing it. While a program can be designed to provide input, to improve people's diagnostic and analytical ability by having models or theories or frameworks to try and get fresh insight into what works for them and what doesn't. It's not until those people start doing those things differently in their current role that you start to see the value of that intervention. So any internal organisational leadership development program shouldn't rely on content input and stuffing stuff in people's heads. It's that, but also in a way that's applied and focused around projects they're already doing or projects related to challenging people in the current roles in which they operate, and for that to be done in a structured and reflective kind of way. And I think over time people's capability grows when they do that, and it can be done quite intentionally, but unless it's related to outcome in the context in which they work, leadership development doesn't really make sense. So people come to, for example, an MBA program or do a postgraduate program of some sort, not just to get the piece of paper, but to inform themselves about how they can think differently about doing what they already do better. And I think when organisations see that happening, they start to realise there's value in investing in leadership development.
So, what this means is that the real challenge is still to come. The real learning begins when you take your new understanding of leading high-performing teams and begin to apply that knowledge to actually leading your team. This will require an open mind and a willingness to reflect on your current practice critically. You will need to be thoughtful and open to the idea that there is plenty of room for personal development. Great leaders are lifelong learners, continuously reflecting and adapting their leadership practice. If you think you are ready for it, I invite you to take the next big step in your leadership journey.